Good morning and welcome to Inside Oakwood with Dr. Leslie Pollard. And we're having a great triumphant day today, ready to talk about a very exciting topic, the first week of school. Dr. Pollard, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Donna. Good morning. How are you this beautiful morning in Huntsville, Alabama?
I am doing well, nice and sunny out there. Just a beautiful day, part of the first week of Oakwood, right?
Yes, it is. It is. Now, for those who don't live in Huntsville, but live in other parts of the country, we have had just amazingly warm days, but it's a good day to be alive. Today is Thursday, and every day that you're alive, I say to myself, man, this is a great day to be alive. A great day. So we're grateful. We're very grateful. We're grateful that school is open, Donna. We're grateful that our students are back on campus. We're grateful for all the planning that's going into making this an unforgettable school year.
Yes.
So many wonderful things are happening in the midst of the pandemic, and I'm just very grateful.
Now, do you have a quick word for us? I know you probably do, because I saw pictures of you walking all over the campus, greeting and meeting with their students. So what's your word for today?
Okay. Well, my word, it's interesting. This word of encouragement comes from the television show America Got Talent. America's Got Talent. So, and recently, of course, the last 2 or 3 months, this young lady, she calls herself Nightbird. She was about 30 years old when she appeared on the show. I don't know if you saw it. Very moving. She had a song. She wrote her own song called It's Okay. And so,
oh, yes.
Yeah, one of the panelists asked her, so what is that about? And she began to tell her story at 30 years old, how she was battling against cancer. And the song was very, very moving. But she said something that I took out my ink pen and I replayed it and I wrote it down because I thought that it was really beautiful and instructive. She said, you can't wait until life isn't hard anymore before you decide to be happy.
That's right. Yes.
Isn't that powerful? Isn't that powerful? That was just, and of course, the whole audience just rolls up and started to put, because it's such a true thing to life. You cannot wait until life isn't hard anymore before you decide to be happy. So many people tie their happiness to circumstances. But I have decided in my life that I'm going to carry my weather with me. Come on, say amen.
Yes, amen.
You got to carry your weather with you. You got to make a decision. And this young lady was so inspiring because that's the decision she made with her life. She said, you can't wait until life isn't hard anymore before you decide to be happy. And it reminded me of the Apostle Paul, who in Philippians said, I have learned in all things to therewith be content.
Yes.
So I'm making a choice today that today is going to be the happiest day of my life. It don't matter what's happening. It don't matter what my circumstances are. It don't matter how much money I don't have. It doesn't matter about any of that. Today is going to be the day that I'm going to be the happiest I've ever been in all my life. And when you make that decision on a day by day basis, God begins to move your circumstances and they begin to diminish in your eyes. Remember the story of the, don't stop me now. You better come get me. remember the story of those spies who went into Canaan. They said, those people were giants and we were just grasshoppers.
Right.
But in Joshua and Caleb's eyes, no. We're the giants. They're the grasshoppers.
Yes.
Come on, say amen, somebody.
Amen. Come on, preach now, Pastor.
So that's what I'm talking about. So you can't wait until life isn't hard anymore before you decide to be happy.
Yes.
And God blesses you as you make those covenants. That's what Paul said. He said, I've learned in all these things to be content. It's a learned behavior. So God bless everybody, to all our listeners. Remember that. Take that young lady's word. She calls herself Nightbird.
Yes.
She said, you can't wait until life isn't hard anymore before you decide to be happy. So I'm making that decision. I trust that you will too.
And that is very good instruction, as you said, Dr. Pollard, because in light of our lives right now, what we're dealing with, the pandemic, and then coming back to school face to face, I'm sure a lot of people probably have some concerns on their minds and trying to figure out, okay, can I be happy in this situation? Well, yes, you can, right? If you choose to be, right? You choose to be happy. You have to choose to be happy, even though we have a lot of different circumstances around us that might be trying to drag us down. We're not going to let that happen, right?
Amen. Amen. Amen.
All right. So, Dr. Pollard, like I said, I saw you around campus, just looking very, very excited and happy to speaking to the school students. I'm sorry, the students that are coming back on campus for face-to-face. How does it feel to be back in school? School started face-to-face again.
All right. Well, we've got all our wonderful students here, as well as our student services personnel. We've got our student life and mission VP, Dr. Dave Richardson, who's here. We've got our student activities director and our conference events planner, Mr. Ray King is here. We've got the president of our United Student Movement. Where is Donovan? I saw him somewhere. There he is. Okay. So everybody is here, and I'm eager to listen to how they're experiencing the campus. Now, what I've done is I've given all the students my cell phone. And I said, okay, text me and let me know how we can make anything better. Okay. So our goal is to try to make everything better. Dr. Richardson did the same thing. Just text me. Now again, I always say, Donna, if you got 2 weeks, call. Okay, call. Right? If you got 3 weeks, email. But if you want like a 24-hour answer and answer within 24, then just text me. And because we want this to be the greatest student experience year that our students have ever had. And that's what we're working for. That's what we're doing.
So Dr. Richardson, come on and share with us, because we're in the midst of a pandemic. So how does it feel to be back on campus after a year?
Amazing. I mean, to be able to see our students face to face, though we're in all of our COVID protocols, but to be able to see our students and begin to plan all the great things that are going to happen on campus. And you hear about that from our students. I mean, our resident facilities are filling up. We're excited about that. There's a lot of energy that's taking place on campus already. And I'm sure Donovan and the USM team will talk to you about that. And we'll talk about some of the planning that we're having. We'll get to that. Some special planning that's taking place on campus. So we're energized, we're excited. We're glad to be back together as a campus family. And we know that God is going to bless us this year. And I will say this, those folks, there's still a little time. I know that we've already started school, but maybe there's some people on the fringes. I want to invite you to come to Oakwood University, because this is the place to be. Oakwood University. And you hear that from our students. I mean, I can only articulate it so much. The students will tell you, because they're experiencing it in the classrooms and in the classroom, outside of the classroom. So I'm excited about what's happening here on campus.
Wow. So there's a lot of students on campus, Dr. Richardson, right? I mean, when I looked, it looked like pre-pandemic time as far as the number of people, but what was it really like?
No, the numbers are there. The numbers are here. And I want to be able to say the numbers are here, but I also want to emphasize that we're following the COVID protocols that the university set in place. So all students are wearing masks. All the students are being 3 feet apart in terms of the distancing. So those things are happening, but yet we're still moving forward with our student activities. Ray, our student director of student activities, will talk to you about. I mean, we've been having some incredible activities, and students have been engaged and they've been loving it. You should see the smile on their face. Come on, Donovan. Donovan. You should see the smile on their faces. Oprah can tell you. And so I'm just saying that we have a lot of things going on here at Oakwood, and Briana's going to let you know. Charles will let you know. I'm just excited to be here. It felt like I missed being on campus the way that I mean, we were on campus, right? But we were all behind the Zoom, and so I can't wait till we get back in the studio, right?
Right.
So much is happening, and so much energy that's happening, positive energy that's happening on campus.
Well, listen, we do have a lot of students here, so we're going to go to them. We're going to talk about the activities with Mr. King as well, but we want to just get that first impression that our students have had as they came on campus for the first time face-to-face after a year. Maybe some of you probably may have been here face-to-face last year, but now it's a little different because everybody's here. So let's start with our president, and then we'll go around the table and just find out, what was your first impression? What were your feelings, the emotions and everything that you felt as you came back on campus?
So, and thank you for that question. The energy has just been great. All of the students on here have had the privilege of serving as navigators, who basically are responsible for introducing the new students, transfer students to the campus. And so we arrive a week early before classes start. We have all kinds of activities planned, team building activities, things that build chemistry between the class of 2025. So that was just absolutely amazing. I think a lot of people were in agreement that that class was one of the most engaged and responsive freshman classes in years, in a very long time. And so I think that speaks to how reactive that the entire student body has been as we're planning things. I think it's just a novelty of every aspect of the college experience that makes everyone want to take advantage of all the opportunities there. And so really excited for the year, and everyone else is excited also.
Now, Donovan, you were here last year or not?
I was.
Okay. All right. So can you just compare the 2 years? And
I mean, night and day from the literal number of people on campus to, I mean, we still plan social activities and we tried to make it as fun as we could. But there was just no way with how, COVID protocols have changed. Certainly those allow for different types of activities that we can do now that we couldn't do last year. Just the camaraderie between students, being able to see people as you're passing, going to a class, going to the market, all the usual things of the college experience, but also the Oakwood experience as well. So a huge difference for sure.
Let's hear from Briana, Oprah, and Charles. Tell us about your feelings, your emotions as you came to the campus for the start of this semester.
I would have to agree with Dr. Richardson. There's just an excitement that's been on the campus. There's some people that I haven't seen since my freshman year of college, now that I'm a junior. So it's so exciting to reconnect with people that you haven't seen in a long time. I even think that the teachers are excited to be back in an in-person setting. So many teachers are just overjoyed that they have their students in class, and you can see it reflected in their expressions and their statements. So it's been a great experience coming back to the campus, seeing it populated from the CAF to just people walking around. It's been a great experience. So I'm so excited for what's to come. Basketball games coming back. I'm so excited for just the school spirit and Oakwood just being alive again.
Oprah or Briana, either one.
I just wanted to keep going with what he's saying, especially with the groups. Like, one thing that I really love is like all the groups on campus, like, the choirs, the step team, which I'm the captain of, and the drumline. And it's like talking about the excitement. There's even freshmen that have found my email and emailed me about certain groups that they can join. And it's like, for them to try to find who like the leaders are and emailing them, it's like, they definitely want to get involved. So, after being home and after having their graduations, at home, it's definitely true that like, there's a whole lot of excitement to join and to meet new people. And with the professors too, like my professor was just like, I am so glad to see people. I was tired of Zoom. Really fun. I love, the campus, because that's what you come to Oakwood for, is like also the Oakwood experience. You could really do academics anywhere. So I'm glad that the Oakwood experience is almost back.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with everyone. I was virtual all last year, so I wasn't on campus. And coming back, seeing my friends, like this being my last year, I'm super excited. I don't think I realized how much I miss people per se, until I actually got here and I got in like a large group. I'm like, oh, hey, let's do this, let's do that. It's so good to see you. I think too, everyone's just so excited to see each other. There's no like beef with anybody. We're just all happy to be together and that we made it out through the pandemic. Like, even if I don't know you and I see your face, I'm still happy to see you, and I'm glad that you're okay, and I'm glad that you're back.
Yeah, that is a good feeling, coming back and knowing that everybody's okay, that you interacted with maybe the year before the pandemic and all that. So Mr. King, talk to us about how we are helping our students be successful academically, spiritually, emotionally, socially, things on campus, what we're doing. Can you speak to that for us?
Yes. I'm listening to everybody, and the best way for me to describe everything is like a family reunion. Like, this is our family reunion. Everybody's excited to see their cousins, their classmates, their aunties and uncles, which is their professors and staff members. They're excited about the new food. We have a new food service provider.
Yeah.
The different activities that we're playing that's going to engage everyone. So I think there's a refresh, I want to say, that we have on campus. And everybody is all in to make sure that our students have that top-notch experience. it's exciting because we have some new professors that are here that were former students not too long ago.
Wow.
It's interesting because I'm like, you were just here and now here you coming back to serve. So that's great because they're still connected to the student body. So they know what the student body, they know how to engage them. So I think that is exciting to see that on campus academic. Spiritually, students are waiting. They're anxious to have that in-person worship experience. A lot of us are so used to the Zoom. I just want to speak personally. I went to my home church this past Sabbath for in-person worship. And I mean, just the spirit that I felt in that room. Our students have had just a small taste. Last Friday, just freshmen had AY, and just to hear about the energy, that spiritual energy that was there, is just so exciting to see that. And then of course on social, we have events planned, not just every Saturday, but throughout the week, and students are anxious to participate. They're wanting to help out. So we really want to get them all engaged so they can have that Oakwood experience that alums talk about. So I'm just real excited for this family reunion. That's what I want to call this year, a family reunion.
I like that.
And we're just going to see how everything goes back. We're still asking for everyone's prayers, but I really believe God is going to protect us in this.
And so, Mr. King, since you want to call it a family reunion, then I guess your title would have been activities director for the family reunion. You're here to make sure everybody is having something enjoyable and fun to do while they're going through their academic process. So tell me, what types of activities do you have or did we have for that first week, and what kinds of things did they do?
Okay, for the first week with the freshmen, it was all about engaging them and having them connect. So we had different type of icebreakers and different type of just games. Dr. Richardson let out in a presentation just so students can be prepared for what am I going to experience while I'm here in college. So the whole thing was just to make sure they were oriented and ready for college. And of course, we had our returning students, our upperclassmen, who are navigators, so they were able to give firsthand advice and tips and suggestions for our students to survive through their college experience. We even had our infamous game called Ophobia. It's one of the games that our students look forward to every single year. So it was exciting to see the freshmen participating. We had some upperclassmen, some sophomores that participated because unfortunately they missed out on it on last year. So just to feel the excitement on campus, it's like, wow, thank you, God, for that, because we've been praying for that, and to actually see it starting to happen is a blessing.
Wow. So, we promised today that during our discussion, we would talk about sharing tips for success in the midst of this pandemic. So let's hear from the students now. If you could, let's start with Briana this time and just share with us any tips that you have as a academic leader in USM. What tips can you share, and what are you going to be, kind of following to help you be successful as well?
Yes, so I love that question. For me, scheduling is everything. I have a planner, I have my calendar. I love the Apple Calendar because you can set little reminders. I put my classes in there, I put my workout times in there, and then I put my music time to practice, my LSAT time. I put everything in my calendar. And then throughout my free time, then I'll be like to my friends, okay, this is the time I have for you all. This is the time I can socialize, etc. Because if I don't, then I know I'll talk to them all day and I'll get nothing done. So I definitely would say scheduling. And then have those non-negotiable times for yourself. Like if you know you want to get fit, I know I have to take the LSAT for my exit exam. So that might mean waking up a little earlier for me, but having those 2 hours non-negotiable times to either work out or to do this where I'm not, someone could say, Michael Jackson's coming, and I'd be like, no, I have to study for the LSAT, like stuff like that, like non-negotiable times.
He's coming.
Non-negotiable times where I know I'm going to like study and do my work. I practice for my recital. So
yeah, I think if they said Michael Jackson was coming, I would not go for sure. All right. How about you, Oprah? Give us some of your tips that we can share with the students that you're going to be implementing for yourself as well.
I would definitely say, especially for freshmen, remember that you're a student first. When I first got to Oakwood, I just joined everything. I was like, oh, every team, like that's for me. And so, but definitely time management, like Bree said, that was huge. And also, I would say get acquainted with your advisor. For sure, I'm a double major, so it's a lot more complicated. I had to do summer school every summer. And it was just, I was so glad that I was able to get in contact with them or else I would have taken the wrong class and everything. And also I would say something that I didn't know my freshman year that I wish I knew was that you could test out of classes that were so easy. You know, it could have saved me a time. And then now I had to take like 4 classes this summer and it's like, So I really wish I knew that. And also I would say self-care, make sure that like Bree said, your only self-care isn't hanging out with friends. Like you're gonna need to pace yourself. You're gonna need to check in with yourself. So that's what I needed my freshman year.
Wow. So you guys are, you and Briana are juniors. So let's hear from our upperclassmen. And if you could share with us how you are managing your college life during this pandemic and some of the tips maybe over the 3 years that you've been here, you just started your 4th year, that have been helpful in helping you be successful. Oh, Briana is a graduating senior too. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead. So we'll hear from Charles and Donovan.
That's it. Are you done?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Social Vice President. But no, Briana and Oprah hit the nail on the head. Make sure you get a planner so you can be aware of all of your engagements, all of your commitments. But also on the flip side of that, try not to overextend yourself, because it's easy to find yourself being engaged and active in a lot of different clubs and organizations. And then you find yourself not being able to give 100% and add in the most value that you can to that group. And so make sure you just pick something that you're really passionate about, that you really care about. It may be tough because you might want to do a whole lot of things, but you'd be much better off and you add much more value to that group if you can just pick one, focus on it, give 110%. Stay on top of your bulletin and your degree audit at my Oakwood, because that is like, I'm not going to say the Bible, but it's the book next to the Bible as far as trying to get out of Oakwood in 4 years. Check it, I'd say twice a semester, once every term, just to make sure that you're getting high enough grades so that you can receive credit, because some majors you have to get a higher grade in the class to receive credit towards your degree. Sometimes they change the bulletin, so you wouldn't, like, for example, I needed to take a chemistry class 1 year before they changed the bulletin, and so I could have switched to that next bulletin that next year and I didn't have to take chemistry, but I didn't know that because I wasn't checking the bulletin. So stay on top of the bulletin, degree audit, plan, don't overextend yourself.
Right. That's great advice as a senior this year. And also Briana, sorry, I called you a junior. She is a senior as well, had some great tips. And Charles Osborne is a junior, right? Do I have that right now, Charles?
Yes, ma'am. I am a junior. Briana took mine, but I'm gonna go a different route. Your syllabus, it's so important. Okay. The worst thing you could come into class and hear is you guys missed an assignment. So making sure that you check that daily, even the first day. The first day I had a reading assignment that we were going to go over in class. So making sure that you're up to date on it. Also spacing out your work. I know some of us are last minute warriors where we type our papers in the last couple of seconds or last hour. Making sure that you break up those 8-page papers, those 12-page papers, or even those 3-page papers that are nice and light. You need to make sure that you start on these things earlier so it's better in the long run. That means you'll have more flexible time for free time and stuff like that. Scheduling is so important. I know my freshman year, I played basketball a lot. And then it took an injury for me to realize, get your priorities together, bud. Get your priorities together. You have class, make sure you remember God first, and then your classes. So making sure that you have your priorities straight of why you're here, what you're supposed to be doing. No one wants that call from mom of what have you been doing this whole time? You know what I'm saying? That's a very uncomfortable conversation. But making sure that you're on top of this stuff and remembering your God and remember to schedule right, and you'll be just fine this semester.
Well, so you would tell your freshman self, Charles, that not to play as much basketball, right?
We did end with the 3.9 though, so I'll take
wow, amazing! But you could have had a 4.0, right? No, I'm just
you know what? All right, That's fair. That's fair.
That's excellent. No, we're not taking any credit away from you for that. 3.9 playing on that basketball is amazing.
Donna, I'm just, and I say it almost tongue in cheek, but at the beginning of COVID, our students voluntarily formed a COVID patrol, right?
Right.
Austin and a few others, the COVID patrol, to especially talk to first year students. It almost sounds like we need an academic success patrol, like in the like in the gymnasium, in the places where you see freshmen, you say, now, here's my badge. I'm authorized to talk to you. How you doing with your schooling? How you doing with your classes? Can we help? What, because I've seen you here for 5 days in a row. So,
right.
Yeah,
So all the students, again, let me get a really quick responses from this one question. What would you tell your freshman self?
Wow.
Who wants to go first?
Bernice hit it on the head with the test out of classes, okay? Testing out of classes is so important. I got to test out of a couple of them, but I missed scheduling for the other ones that I could have. So that can also move up your year a little faster, that you can take other classes and make your senior year or junior year a little lighter because you were able to reorganize your schedule. But testing out of classes, I would tell him to check into that.
All right, who wants to go next?
I would say, relationships are not important, man. People will always be there. That could be a very big distraction. And especially big friend groups as well. Not only relationships, you don't need to meet everybody and talk to everybody. So that's what I would tell myself freshman year, because it was just all about like this new country, new everything. Let me just get out there and meet people. So please remember your books is what I would tell myself freshman year.
All right.
I would tell myself to learn how to say no. I feel like so many times I personally, and even still to this day, it's hard for me to say no. So someone asks me to do something and I'll be like, yeah, sure, I can do it. And then, I say yes so many times to the fact where I'm overwhelmed and I can't give 100%. And doing everything. So I wish freshman year I had learned how to say no. And those 2 or 3 things that I was really passionate about that I gave 110% and I just kept up with. So
that's a really good one, Briana, because I feel that one. I relate to that one. But how do you can you take it one step a little further and tell them how they can come to the point where they can say no? What is it that help you say no and make that change?
To be honest, I'm still struggling with that today, learning how to say no, but I will say remembering my priorities. I don't want to be here for 6 years. So that kind of motivates me to say no a little bit more and focus on my studies.
All right, Donovan.
Yes, all great suggestions, my colleagues. Through an academic lens, I would definitely still say that degree audit and following your bulletin is key, because they really set the bulletin up so that your senior year, you're taking the minimum number of hours to be considered a full-time student, which is great because then you can play all the basketball you want. You can engage in all the extracurricular that you want. So follow that degree bulletin through and through. It will not steer you wrong. And then from a social perspective, a lot of, I don't know, especially at Oakwood, a lot of people feel this pressure to live out their youth while they're in college. And I mean, your years of learning and growing don't end once you graduate from college. And so I said that to say, once you get here, you don't have to make all of these rash decisions that you think are going to define who you will become after you graduate. Because once you graduate, you're still in your 20s. You still have lots of time to develop, forge new relationships with new people. Your journey does not end once you graduate college. So don't feel the rush to make all of these decisions that you think will predict what the rest of your life is going to be like after you graduate college.
Wow. Oh, great suggestions. And we pray that all the students were listening to that, because that was some great instruction right there. So before we go, because it's almost time to wrap it up, let me hear from Dr. Richardson again about, is there anything left for students to do who have not registered yet and still considering coming to Oakwood? Is it still a possibility for them to come to Oakwood at this point?
Of course. And so they need to, of course, get with our enrollment and recruitment team. And so we know school has already started, but with, Oakwood University, we always like to keep those doors open. Now, there's going to be a point where that door has to close, right, for this semester. but I still think there's time. Oakwood University, as you've heard from our students, is the place to be. I mean, incredible student. And I wish our listeners could see our Director of Student Activities shirt, Raymond King shirt. It's amazing. So you would come to Oakwood just to be a part of seeing his shirt. It's amazing. So I'm telling you, Oakwood University is the place to be. We'll leave our doors open for that. And do we want to say a word about, we have this great activity that's happening the Sabbath. The students are putting together with OSL,
Yes.
USL. We're having a great Sabbath service. We're bringing in the Walls group, and it's a complimentary service, an exclusive complimentary service for our students. But because of course at Oakwood University, students are first, right? They're the center of what we do. And so we're having this great service that's going to begin at 12:30 in the Millet Activity Center. Of course, our students need to register through our OU app if they want to be a part of that. But I want you to know Oakwood is doing some great things. Our USM team, our student activities director, our director of first year experience, everyone's coming together to really make Oakwood an incredible place. So
Now,
I'm really excited about Oakwood. And yes, the doors are still swinging open a little bit. So please come join us.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that event, because we want to make sure our audience knows that are listening, the general public that are listening, to know if they can come to those events. I know we're still trying to keep our, social distancing and everything. So can you speak about that?
Sure. So this event is exclusive for our students. As you think about our protocols, you have to have a negative result to come on Oakwood University campus. Yeah, negative COVID result. Thank you, Dr. Pollard. Come on campus. So this is exclusively for our students, but there will be opportunities as we move through this pandemic. But this event is for our students. It's a complimentary service that was taking place on campus. Really excited about who's coming. Like I said, with the Walls group, our dynamic praise group will be singing. We've got a great speaker that's coming back who was a former student, a graduate of Oakwood University, a pastor, Daniel Charles. So we just have a lot of great things that are taking place here. We would love to have our community, but not at this one.
Right, exactly. That's why I wanted to mention that, because I mean, in the past, everybody could come to whatever events that Oakwood was having on campus, but because of the pandemic, we can't do that anymore. And we want to make that clear until you all announce that, hey, we're open, everybody can come on. Right. But Dr. Pollard, it's time to close now. You want to wrap it up for us?
I just wish I was so wise when I was a freshman. I do. I just wish I was so wise. And I was blessed. I graduated magna cum laude. And I'm grateful for that. But it could have been summa if I had known some of the things that our students have shared already. And again, as one person put in the chat room, our students are magnificently awesome. That's what someone said in the chat room. So we're very grateful for that. And so we're looking forward to it. This weekend is going to be a busy, busy weekend. We're welcoming our students back. This is the first time the entire student body is assembled after the closing of the pandemic. Everybody is here. We still got some students who are clearing, so we want to pray for those especially. But we're grateful, and thank you, students, for being here this morning. Thank you, Dr. Richardson and Mr. King, for everything that you do. Thank you, Donovan, for your leadership of our USM, and all of our students who are here. God bless you, and may you have a wonderful school year.
Thank you so much. And thank you for being with me, Dr. Leslie Pollard, for Inside Oakwood. We'll have another edition next week on Thursday, same time, same place, right here at WJOU 90.1 FM.